Chers collègues, j'espère que vous êtes ennuyés autant que moi.
It's back to school, or rather back to the assembly for M&As.
Back to school. Yes, that's true. Back to school. But no, I'm not nervous. I hope I still have friends. I know some are still my friends.
For former PQ M&A Louise Baudouin, staying independent and away from the peer pressure of any political party is the best way to get things done at the Assembly. Speaking of popularity, a new poll shows that the most popular person to lead the province isn't even an M&A. Former PQ Minister François Legault, according to polls, would get 33% of the vote if an election were held today. There are rumors in the hallway that the popular kid Legault plans to hook up with the right-wing ADQ party. The ADQ says they're just friends.
It's only a rumor. There's only one political party that represents the changement for the Quebecers.
Comme je vous dis, il n'y a pas de mariage, puis...
There's no marriage, and if you ask me again, I'm going to the nunnery, says ADQ M&A Sylvie Roy. Just like school, there are tests. For the Liberals, it's convincing the public that police will work better to stop corruption than the public inquiry voters are asking for.
I've seen organograms, people testifying with a big organogram behind them, saying who was responsible for the money, who was responsible for this. Police inquiries have brought down serious criminal organizations.
What we want to prove to the public that the best way is our choice. For now, it's not their opinion.
For the ADQ, it's surviving. Only 6% of Quebecers say they'd vote for the party.
When you are in politics, each day is a test for a politician. So this is where we are, again, but we are ready to fight.
For the PQ, it's not to lose any more members of their clique. 5 M&As left at the beginning of summer over the bill to protect the hockey arena deal between Quebecor and Quebec City. And they all already have homework, lots of it. First up is passing that arena bill that sent the PQ into a spiral. Since M&As have several minutes to give their opinion on the arena deal, it looks like they'll be hard at work for a very long time. The bill is expected to be passed within the next 24 hours. Elysia Baines, Global News, Quebec City. Between passing laws and sitting on committees, there's always time at the National Assembly for scandals and rumors. Today, the rumor: the Liberal government may consider calling a fall election.
There's a situation unfolding now that will give food for thought to all those in the Liberal Party who may be considering a snap election.
The situation is that the Parti Québécois needs time to heal after 4 M&As quit this week over a controversial arena bill.
We just went through a lot of pain. The only way to get out of this is to stick together.
So right now, they've got other problems to worry about.
Rumors are rumors, so...
Also, despite a record dip in the polls a few months back, the Liberal leader is ahead in the polls for the first time in a long time. There's also a question of former PQ M&A François Legault. Legault says he'll be ready for a fall election, even though he hasn't officially formed his new party. Liberals say he should hurry up so that he can declare who's financing his party in time.
If he wants to create a political party, he should make it immediately for fairness with the other party.
Deputy Premier Nathalie Normando says they're not interested in calling an election. Of course, with any rumor, it's best to go straight to the source, so we did.
Interested in a fall election?
That's an interesting question.
He's being coy, and analysts say it's a long shot that the Premier will actually call a fall election. It's a big gamble for a leader who's only recently started to climb his way back up in the polls. Elysia Baines, Global News, Quebec City.
Oxygen.
Bouts of pain and neurological attacks. That's been Pascal Lacosse's life for the past 12 years.
Now I've more pain in my body. I'm really sick.
Once the pain passes, the 38-year-old is focused, determined to get help. Tests done by Pascal's Montreal doctors show he has high levels of uranium in his system. The former soldier says he got uranium poisoning while serving in Bosnia back in the 1990s.
When we have impact right there, the blindage with uranium have a damage, and he put the radioactivity dust, and my face and my nose is right there.
Depleted uranium was used in military equipment in the 90s, but the Canadian military says they didn't. They say the only way for a Canadian soldier to be exposed is by friendly fire from another country. No government has recognized that depleted uranium has an impact on someone's health. But Lacoste says some lighter weight practice vehicles did use depleted uranium. That's why he's decided to go on a hunger strike starting November 5th. He won't eat until the government pays for treatment in the U.S. or he dies, whatever comes first.
The army, it's teamwork. Just one guy dead for help every guy, it's okay for me.
When asked by the opposition about Lacoste's case, this is what the government had to say. For Pascal, there's a lot to be done before he stops eating. Today, it's to take his test results and the letter from his doctor to the Veterans Affairs offices in Quebec City. After that, it's to wrap up his affairs and try to explain to loved ones why he's chosen this course of action.
When I go to the Bosnia, I fight for the justice. When I go in East Timor, I fight for the justice. And now, I fight for the justice. I'm a warrior.
Either way, he says his final battle will end November 11th. Elysia Baines, Global News, Quebec City. Renting a car to do your weekend errands could cost you nothing in gas. Quebec's car share service Communauto launched its first fleet of 100% electric cars today.
I think that there's a huge amount of interest to this technology.
15 are already in place in Montreal and Quebec City. By the end of the year, there will be 50.
Those cars cost more when we buy them, but they will cost less for fuel.
Instead of $2,000 a year in fuel, it will cost $200. Communauto isn't paying for the charging stations, Hydro-Quebec is. The hydroelectric company admits it's eager for the day when Quebecers lose their $12 billion addiction to gas and switch to electric cars.
We're going to collect some interesting data with those charging stations, and those data will be useful, to prepare the arrival of a large amount of EVs on our road.
If the Quebec government has its way, there will be considerably more electric cars on Quebec roads in the next few years. In the spring, the government announced it would pay drivers $8,000 to buy electric. Their goal is to have 300,000 electric cars on the road by 2020. This project with Communauto is a first step to getting people plugged in to the new technology.
Quebec is ready. That's the first in North America, first place in North America to use electric car.
We would be able right now to provide electricity to 1 million cars.
The Nissan Leaf has a range of 160 kilometers, more than enough juice to get in and around the city. Environmentalists say projects to promote green driving are good, but reducing air and noise pollution will take more than handing out green license plates.
The gain is marginal. It will stay marginal if we don't add new policies to invest massively in public transit, and also policies designed to stop urban sprawl once and for all.
Elysia Baines, Global News, Quebec City.
That's right, Richard. The head of the anti-collusion squad, Jacques Duchesneau, is out of a job. He was supposed to return to work after 2 weeks of vacation on Monday. Today, he met with his boss, the head of the anti-corruption squad, Robert Lafrenière. They spoke, and at the end, Duchesneau was told he's no longer the head of the anti-collusion squad. Now, his contract was supposed to end in March 2012, but Duchesneau and Lafrenière butted heads after the media-loving Duchesneau told reporters that a judge and not a former police officer should be at the head of the anti-corruption squad. Lafrenière is a former police officer, so it didn't sit well. ADQ public security critic Sylvie Roy says, yes, it's a bad idea to badmouth your boss in public, but she says Duchesneau's report, which shed light on the depth of corruption in the construction industry, shows that Duchesneau is needed, and she says the two men should have found a way to work together until the end of Duchesneau's contract.
Monsieur Duchesneau était un homme qui travaillait, on l'a vu, dans une forteresse fermée et il est un homme honnête et on ne peut pas le contrôler. Peut-être que ça fatiguait le responsable de l'unité.
The Parti Québécois takes it further. They say Duchesneau's being punished for speaking out. After all, it was his report that ended up forcing the hand of the Liberal government to call a public inquiry into corruption in the construction industry. For years, they said no, but once Duchesneau's report went public, they basically had a little choice. If it is the case that he's being punished, we're sure to hear about it from the man himself. For now, Jacques Duchesneau won't comment. He says he'll wait a while before speaking out. Richard? That's right. The CCQ, or the Quebec Construction Commission, is sending a clear message that threats and intimidation will not be tolerated. Deanne Lemieux says 170 complaints were filed following 2 days of wildcat strikes last week. Construction workers walked off or were forced off the job as part of a union protest against Bill 33. The law would curb union power on construction sites. The commission got 300 calls and 170 complaints. The rides, the food, the fun of a fair. 400,000 people will visit Expo Quebec in the next few days. The annual end-of-summer tradition has been expanded to celebrate its 100th year.
We've added extra shows and events that we don't usually have. We have a fantasy circus, which is called Mana, which is a mixture of magic, mystery, and a circus act.
Then there's the sand sculpture exhibit, usually a competition. This year, it's a tribute to the anniversary.
The Great Wheel is 15 feet high. Yes, it's the biggest piece here, but a lot of a nice piece all around.
The 40 sculptures took 9 days and 20 people to build, 9,000 tons of sand in one tent. For artistic director Michel Lepire, it's a labor of love, a way to show the exhibition's history.
They have a baseball and they have a car racing also and a horse racing also in 1920 here.
From sand sculptures of pigs to the real thing. The expo is first and foremost an agricultural fair. 2,000 animals greet their eager fans, and farmers and breeders come from afar to have their animals judged.
Expo Quebec for us is a top-notch show. It's by far superior to any of the other shows that we've gone to.
After winning several awards, goat farmer V.K. Martin hopes to slip away from her kids and enjoy the sights.
Because we have to stay here for 6 days, we can explore Quebec City and the area.
It may be the summer, but there's always room for hockey.
Hockey Cité, which is the story of hockey on the site of Expo Cité, the Nordiques, the Aces, the Citadels, of course, Lafleur, Bellevaux. They all started their careers here.
Of course, for the young at heart, there's always the tried and true, a carousel ride to keep the magic of the expo alive. Elysia Brian Baines, Global News, Quebec City.